Well, welcome back again this week. We're going to continue the problem with voting for conservatives and bring it into perspective as to the real problem when it comes to supporting various individuals who claim to have various positions that we would all agree with. For instance, let's say a person is pro-life and he believes that against abortion and everything else. Now, he may vary a little bit in the particular areas of what we would classify abortion. Some people say it's before conception even. Some people say within a certain term, and so on and so forth. But at any rate, they support pro-life. Another one is they are against the homosexual agenda. And of course, that's something that a lot of conservatives would support. Another thing is that they say they are in support of the Second Amendment, and isn't everybody? And of course, some of these people from time to time, like Governor Kasich of Ohio, teamed up with President Clinton in supporting the assault weapons ban, and didn't see anything wrong how that would be in violation of the original intent and infringement upon the right of the citizens to keep and bear arms. Another one, let's say, that conservatives support is a balanced budget. So you see, we're starting to get some real conservative issues put together here. What about school prayer? A lot of people are very concerned about this issue, and so school prayer is part of the conservative and moral issues in the conservative movement. Another one that's sprung up recently is anti-Common Core. And this is particularly a case that has really captured the imagination of a lot of people around the country. Another one, for instance, is homeschooling, that they support the right of the parents to homeschool their children. And there are a lot of statistics and everything else regarding whether this is a good or a bad thing, but generally it boils down to the right of the parent to educate their child free from government controls. But there are things that we start to see amongst individuals who support all of these things in leadership positions in the conservative movement. For instance, what if they work with Council on Foreign Relations members on various issues? That should cause some alarm, because the Council on Foreign Relations members stand for an international government, a one world government, in their words, the New World Order. And so when you start to see this amongst the leaders of all of these conservatives that support these things, it makes you wonder what is going on. Another one that was very interesting is the North American Union, because there were people that claimed to be for all of these things, but also for the North American Union. Another one would be the transatlantic and trans-Pacific unions. And that's really what they are, ladies and gentlemen. They are not trade agreements. They are transatlantic or transoceanic unions, where they are integrating the economy of the United States and the banking policies, the healthcare policies, all the rest of it. Everything that has to do with American society is being integrated through these agreements. Another one is they work with the United Nations. Now, this is getting interesting, because at some point you're starting to see that the United Nations is against the Second Amendment. They believe in the homosexual agenda. In fact, in some countries today, in the European Union and Canada and elsewhere, you can't even preach in the pulpit against homosexuality as a Christian pastor. And you could be thrown in prison for all of this. They want to confiscate your firearms. They believe in abortion and all of that. And then we also noticed something happening recently is the individuals are working with those who want to rewrite the Constitution of the United States. Now, any one of these things here, if they actually agree with this and we actually go into an agreement in these pacts, go fully into the UN or with the EU, or rewrite the Constitution through a constitutional convention, or any of those things, will negate all of this, you see, because we won't have any control over it anymore. It will be gone. It will be out of the American system. And so you have to ask the question, just what is going on with these people? Because they're getting a lot of support through all these various conservative issues, and then selling out the conservative constituency because they are segueing them into neocon agenda of changing the Constitution, of tweaking things against the Second Amendment, of working with people to do this with those who want to completely rewrite the Constitution, working with people who want to get in bed with the world instead of staying independent and having the American people unilaterally make their own decisions. Sure, trade, all these other things sound very good, but it's what's behind the agenda in these things that will destroy the United States. Now, I wanted to also do some work today on the terrorist organizations around the world, but I'll save that for a future time, just to show you that, for instance, this is the Turkish Communist Party, and you can see the hammer and sickle on their flag. Now, this is a Muslim terrorist organization. It is on the terrorist watch list. And there are several others of this ilk, where if you go to the Turkish websites, you will see this. This is an English translation from a Turkish website. Now, it's a bad translation. It's kind of stilted because of the differences between the language and English. If any of you have ever used Wikipedia to do these things, you know how difficult it is to get a very good translation. It's enough to get the gist of it and so on and so forth, but it's not precise. Here's another one. For instance, the leader of Iran and the communist leader of Venezuela getting together. That's a clue, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a Muslim problem. It never has been a Muslim problem. It is a facade. The communists work within the religion of any particular country they are in. They work in the Christian community in the United States. They work in the Islamic community in Islamic states. They work in the Buddhist community. They work in the Shinto community. And they make themselves look as something that they really are not. Interestingly, communists are atheists. In fact, there's an awful lot of articles online recently within the Muslim world trying to make the Muslims believe that you can be a communist and a Muslim at the same time, even though atheism is an essential ingredient in communism, just as an essential ingredient in communism is a one world government. Just like the Council on Foreign Relations or anything else, all they disagree on is who will rule. That's all there is. And so, getting back to the original point, if someone says he stands for this and this and this and this, and then does something that will completely negate everything they profess to stand for, then you have to look at that leadership and ask yourself, is that somebody I want to vote for president? Is that somebody I want to look to tell me whether or not we should rewrite the Constitution of the United States? Support a constitutional convention or convention of the states? And believe me, I am describing some of the leaders of that movement. They have been attacking the John Birch Society a lot, which tells us they're in trouble. And it's like Edward Hunter said, he's the man that coined the term brainwashing. He testified in front of the Senate of the United States and said what's happening is the communists are attacking the John Birch Society, accusing them of the same things they are doing. And that's what's crept into this battle over a constitutional convention. We are being accused of the same thing that they actually are doing, whether it's Soros or anything else. It's very interesting to watch. At any rate, those are things for you to watch and inform yourself more on. So, until next week, we'll see you then.